So as we head into
No, that was a
game
good game. What was
three, this
it?
will be
It just
down to the
I had
winner of
corn out of
this.
your
Will move
hand,
on to the finals
and I would
of the
hope that
Quarantine
more
Cup
spaced apart so
and
I could develop my
face
board state.
Robbie
You
and
know,
his Captain Marvel MCU deck.
that was
These have been
whew,
three
that was
or
brutal.
two pretty different runs between these two. Um, with
Well, at least I went to game three,
with
so no
Skirks
matter
taking
how
the first
I
one
feel good about
and
this, regardless of the outcome.
Dave taking the second.
No, like I said,
Um,
every match
Shout out to
or
chat for
every
everybody who's been
playtest,
joining
it
us.
went 2-3,
Thank you
and
very much
basically
for
I
taking the
would lose
time
every
and
time you
having some
had
fun with us
like
this today.
uh that many cancels
Right.
because it can
Shaping
I'm
up to be
such a
another great
swingy
match,
deck. I'm like an
it's
all-in
really
swingy deck.
kind of a
If the
decisive win
the
for
wrong
Spider-Woman
board
in
if
game
the
one,
wrong
and then an amazing
combos get
comeback from
canceled,
Spider-Man in game two.
I'm screwed.
Exciting stuff.
You know.
Yeah,
Right.
really exciting. It's
But no,
impressive to
I'm
watch these
surprised
two
you were able
decks
to
kind of try
generate
and
a
figure
bit
each other
more
out.
going
It seems
with
like,
Tony Stark.
especially on David's side, he's
Like
got so much in there that aren't
that game.
characters that it looks like he's behind, but he's just waiting. And Spider
Like
Woman
he's such
needs
a
to get out
blowout.
there fast, but then she kind of runs the
He's
risk
such a
of
blowout.
uh, putting too many people out there or throwing too many people at David and just wasting
coordinator's
attacks.
engine. There we go.
Yeah, Spider-Woman, she burns through those resources quick, and I think David really wants to see those. You're the last ones early on,
Okay.
and if he can manage to flip
I am
without
hyper vigilant about my hand
Spider-Woman
size
having
right
leveled yet,
now.
that's where he wants to be.
Yeah, when I seen it on the other game, that's why I had to let you know, like, man, because I play you many times, so I know that not something how you get down.
Yeah, no.
I wonder
Didn't even
because
notice.
Skirks has
Crazy.
missed the
Like I said, you're
climb
not gonna see the
twice,
initial
once in
the
each
evidence
game,
on
how much
camera.
that would affect, if at
Yeah.
all, the play.
All right, I'm gonna throw
He
this
did.
back.
He wasn't able to
Okay.
attack
I'm gonna finish
I
up.
and take
have
out
really
Dawn
mediocre
during that
hands.
last game. So it'll be
Like,
interesting to see what
I
his
look
thoughts.
at it like, nah, I could do so much better.
As far as the like
But
the
that
board
wasn't a
state goes,
bad
I don't
game.
know that particular missed climb was super relevant. But what I do think is relevant is when you miss the climb, kind of what it does to your mental state at that point. I think it kind of puts you on tilt when you miss something like that.
Yeah, you start thinking about other things. You get
Yeah, for
excited.
sure.
You think you're going to make that attack, then you forget something, and then you stop remembering even this is simple.
Yeah, I think that's the most relevant part of that. Is can you move past it and recover mentally and try to secure the game moving forward.
Ugh.
So as we head into the third and final game between Spider-Woman and Spider-Man MCU,
So
again, chat, we've got ourselves a vote, a poll up. Let us know who you think is going to take this and move on to the finals. You can vote by typing in exclamation point vote David or exclamation point vote Skirks. So let us know. And as we start this off, looks like Skirks has gone first, and he's got himself Madam Web.
Yep, got that strong Spider-Woman opening, but David responds with the "You're the last one."
Okay, yeah.
Is what he wants to see.
Kind of told me that.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see either a location, a climb, and a pass, or possibly, if he's got that one of May Parker in his hand, maybe an aggressive play from MCU Spider-Man.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be passing. Make sure he climbs. And looks like he's going to be passing.
Yep.
I'm going to be passing the turn.
Pass turn.
Yep.
Yeah, normally when you see somebody who just plays a resource and passes, there's not much going on. They've got high cost cards, or they're just flooded with stuff that they just can't use right now. But with David, you just don't know if he's got every answer to every attack. If you're
you have a counter now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of in his game plan, right? He doesn't have many of those aggressive low drops. He's got much more of a late game plan that he's aiming for.
Pass turn.
So there's the first wound.
First wound.
Bifrost?
Yep. We got ourselves a Bifrost.
Yeah, the great thing about David's build is he's very unlikely to ever miss
And passing turn.
the to miss a location and whiff on his XP
Oh.
with the sheer amount of locations that he's got in the deck.
Yeah, I think that nullifier was the first time that we've seen him miss.
Yeah, he hasn't just
Nullifier
missed
climb.
on forgetting this game. Oh man.
Oh, that's early. Again.
Move to
Yeah,
combat.
the turn 3 nullifier this time.
You're the last one.
Pass turn.
Yikes.
And he has a you're the last one to answer.
Tax into the last one to keep Skirk off the XP again, but it's an uphill battle now with the nullifier on the other side. Let's see if he has the Maria Hill to answer it this time, so he only has to miss 1 XP instead of potentially 2 or more.
Oh.
He decided to Bifrost Madam
Makes
Web.
sense.
Yep, okay. That's one way to do it for sure. I think Maria Hill would have been cleaner, but if you don't have it, just go ahead and burn the...
Yep.
Ooh, okay. Dana Scully comes down for the heal. And I think Dana Scully lines up very well to try to take a shot at Spider-Woman here.
And decides to push Spider-Man into the back row, trying to keep
like
some people off of him for a little bit. That may tell us that he doesn't have as many answers as he had last.
And passing turn.
Thank goodness for that Bifrost to respond to the nullifier.
That's why I said sorry. I forgot a Bifrost. I just thought about that. Sorry.
Yeah, you go ahead, make your attack.
Yeah, I think you do it. I think you try to make that attack onto Spider-Woman. The only thing you could see
How big is she?
that would really worry you is a call for the power-up, which will give her an XP on the crackback. And there it is.
Yeah, he's got that call. Just waiting. So you have a 3/5 Scully going into a 5/4 Spider-Woman.
David could respond here with a friend from work that would cancel it, keep him off the XP, or a power-up of his own would swing the advantage back to Scully.
That's good.
So he would need another Scully in his hand, and he just takes it, which takes Spider-Woman to her second experience.
Yeah, he has a decision to make of whether or not he wanted to go ahead and cancel that one or possibly cancel one that Skulk's going to be sending his way this turn, most likely.
Yep. Tough call. Power up would have been good, but then you have to burn a Dana Scully, which doesn't feel great, especially when you're already showing another X-Files.
Hold on.
Would have been a great attack if you could get it to land, but obviously the call power up really strong for Skirk's side. And Madam Web is back to bring Spider-Woman back up to, I believe, a 7/6 right now.
Yeah, she just needs one more XP. Luckily, Spider-Man is most likely going to get his XP as well.
I'm going to play... I'm actually going to Dimensional Wristwatch.
Okay.
Oh, and we're going to have a Dimensional Wristwatch. We're going after Spider-Gwen.
I have a lot of clumping.
Yeah, so she's going to come out as a 6/9, thanks to Madam Web in the back row. Not bad for a 4-drop, for sure. So hopefully we'll see David have a You're the Last One this turn. Would keep him off a wound, keep Spider-Woman off her experience, and get him out of jail free this turn. And hopefully secure the level up next turn, and he'll be pretty well statted once he levels up if he can manage to keep those counters.
Spider-Woman into Spider-Man.
That's good.
And we're taking Spider-Woman into Spider-Man. And Spider-Man takes his first wound.
I will pass turn. I
Yep,
have
no
1, 2, 3,
cancel, so
4,
that's
5, 6 cards in hand.
A 10/9 Spider-Woman over there.
For those of you just joining us, this is the Quarantine Cup Top 4. This is the second semifinal matchup. The winner of this will move on to the finals. Right now, we are tied up at 1 game apiece, and the winner of this game will move on to face Robbie and his Captain Marvel MCU build. Both games have been a pretty great matchup between the two of them. And right now, Spider-Man's a little behind, but not by much, and we've seen some pretty impressive things come out of that deck, so we'll see if Spider-Woman can put this one away.
Yep.
We see the second Bifrost come out from David.
Dana Scully.
And a Scully to heal that wound. Nice.
He only had the 1 wound? I thought he had 2.
No, Dana Scully took the first one. The first Dana Scully he killed took the first one off.
Right. Yeah, that's so good. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the second Dana Scully we've seen this game, so she's been able to keep Spider-Man healed up.
Yeah, I see this game going pretty long. The Dana Scullys have kept Spider-Man pretty healed, and
formation like this.
on Skirk's side there, he's showing a green and a Queens rather for the potential heals over there.
Yep.
Keeping both of our guys up front here, maybe trying to make some attacks.
Oh, and he's able to level up.
Only a 7/7 right now, and Madam Web over there is going to keep.
Hold on.
Ooh, looks like he forgot about Madam Web.
Okay, yeah, I forgot he's a real thing.
I think he thought that he could make a trade with Spider-Woman, but with Madam Web in the back row there, she's out of reach.
I believe he was actually going to go after Spider-Gwen, but then forgot about Madam Web.
Yep. 9 defense there on Spider-Gwen.
Well, I just haven't gotten her.
So left both of them up front there, but no attacks made.
So I'll do that.
Yeah, I think that formation may have been an idea of getting off at least an attack, and he wasn't able.
We'll climb.
Yep, I think so. Remembers to climb this time with 2099.
Remember to climb this time.
And I think we'll see him swing on Spider-Man first to try to fend off the potential of a You're the Last One. We could, however, still see a Friend from Work. But I think regardless, Spider-Man's taking a wound this turn, so I don't think you burn it here. I think you save it.
I pass priority.
Okay, I am 1 too, so I'll take a wound.
Yeah, he's decided to go ahead and take that wound, so he must not have as many answers in his hand as he did last game.
Pass turn at that.
Build Phase in the chat made the comment that he couldn't commit that Bifrost because he needed it in order to level up, so he still has that Bifrost this turn. Hopefully he can get rid of it.
Yeah, if you can get that Madam Web out of here long enough to clean up the board, I mean, she will come back and buff your team again, but if you can kind of clean up the board state to your advantage.
Watching these games the last couple of weeks has been so exciting.
Yeah.
Especially the way that these two, or all the decks have just been paired up so well. We have not seen anybody that's been super overpowered, or just a deck that's been behind for the entire time. It's just been able to swing back and forth, which is just beautiful.
Yeah, these top cut matches that they've gone, all of them so far that we've seen have gone all the way to game 3, and they could have easily gone either way. We haven't seen anybody be steamrolled yet. It's been incredible.
The Logian in chat is asking whether or not David is running Goose. You have his.
Yeah, he's running Goose. Only 2 copies of Goose though. His removal he's playing is 2 copies of Goose, and he's got 2 copies of Bifrost. So that Bifrost there is the second of 2. It's the last Bifrost he has, and he's got 2 Goose in his deck that we haven't seen yet.
Goose in the Madam Web.
Oh, good play.
Oh, and there's Goose.
She'll go right there.
Okay, so Goose is gonna munch on that Madam Web. Oh, very good. Okay, so he used 5 recruit points, or
Gotta love the
okay,
Goose.
no, so Iron Man is he's a 4 cost actually. So, but paying 1 to bring out Goose, he's got a recruit point left if he wanted to. If he had like a May Parker, it would be incredible.
Oh yeah, if he had a May Parker, I'm sure that would be coming right down super.
I wonder what power he used. It looks like he loaded up on counters with that with the Avengers Tower.
Dave's trying to decide how he wants his formation to go. Making sure he protects Goose to keep Madam Web off the board.
Yeah.
Yep, making sure to remember the paraglide. So
He's an 11.
with Madam Web out of here and loading up on counters on Spider-Man,
Spider-Woman.
he's looking pretty strong
Okay,
right now. Looking to be in a
activate my
strong
red
position here.
With both stunned.
Swinging
Because
in
he's,
on
He's an 11,
Spider-Woman,
right?
and
Yeah.
he's gonna pay the red.
And I'm an 8.
Yikes.
And then,
Okay. That's still good, yeah.
So
Either
the
way,
red
like,
makes it a trade.
yeah.
The Venom Blast to do -3 defense on Spider-Man makes it a trade.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
And
resources
no one
went
else
into
is big enough to
putting
do
those
my
counters
Yeah,
on,
I'll
but
pass that, yeah.
they're gone pretty quickly.
Luckily with the trade, though, it does wipe the counters off of Spider-Woman as well. But yeah, he
Alright,
lost
this
a
is
big
good.
chunk
We'll play
off
a
of
Queens.
He couldn't make any other attacks either. Spider-Gwen has
That puts us
dodge.
on 1, 2,
She
3,
cannot be
4,
range
5,
attacked.
6. We're
And
on 6.
2099 is out of reach. So Goose, I think, is definitely on the chopping block here.
Yeah, he's definitely got a target on him in order to get that Madam Web back out.
We'll play Jessica Jones.
Yeah, chat's asking
and
why not
Matt.
Iron Man up
Okay.
front. I think he just calculated and didn't see the Venom Blast. He thought his Spider-Man was gonna stick. Even so, I think Iron Man front might have been wise anyway. Being your only flyer to protect Goose.
I'm gonna go
As it
ahead
stands,
and activate one of my queens right now.
Goose is pretty
Okay.
fragile right now, and then man,
Why are
Skirk's
you
board is looking
healing?
real stacked right now.
Yeah, and he just activated
Just
Queens.
because it's available.
Yeah, for the heal,
I'm gonna
and he's
move
showing
the
another one.
formation. I think my formation
And
is fine.
man,
We're gonna climb
remembering to climb
this other queens.
and a match in the back row. 2 flyers up front, one who can cancel combats. Jessica
like
Jones
that,
is going to keep Iron Man off his
2099 into Iron Man.
philanthropist power.
That's good.
And just like that, things are swinging back over onto Skirk's
Match in the goose.
face.
That's good as well.
Okay,
Yep,
Madam
definitely
Web
in
back
a
to the
big
hand.
way.
Pass turn.
Yep. So
Going to.
The nice
Queen's
thing
up
that
David's board.
by taking out Goose, though, Madam Web just has to go back into the hand, so he has at least a turn that he can try and get something together before he sees that Madam Web again, because that's.
Yeah, and with a Spider-Gwen, a Spider-Woman, and a Spider-Man 2099,
Okay, I see you call. Okay.
gonna get
So
a
we
lot of
got
value out of
Strike
that Madam
Spider-Woman.
Web there. Although the training ground is gonna help him to get an out of combat stun onto Spider-Woman, although she's only gonna go to 1 wound thanks to the healing powers of Queens.
That's so good. I love it. Like that's the
Yeah, a
reason
lot
to
of
play
healing this game,
right there.
and more to come. It
I
looks
mean,
like.
Also academies are pretty dope.
Yeah, the wound count is pretty low on both of these, so hopefully we've got quite a bit more game to go.
Looking at 6 resources here.
Buffy.
So looks like a Buffy and a Dawn, assuming he
May
remembers about it.
Parker.
Oh, a Buffy and a May
and
Parker.
there's May Parker. Awesome. Now this is going to be interesting,
Paraglide.
especially once Madam Web comes back in.
No flyers, interestingly enough, from David here. So that May Parker is looking really strong now, but is a little bit fragile.
Going at Spider-Man 2099.
All right, I'm going to power up. Cancel combat.
Okay.
And a power up from 2099 for the cancel.
And I will pass turn.
And David is going to play defensive for the rest and pass. Wow, that board is looking thick on Skirk's side.
Yeah, he'll be on 7 resources this turn, so we could see an Ultimate Spider-Man, or he could underdrop maybe a 5 or a 6, combined with the 1-cost Madam Web to buff his team significantly. He's going to underdrop a Elsa Bloodstone and a Madam Web.
We will be naming Lethal and fearless.
Okay.
And Elsa is taking
We're
lethal
gonna
and
move to
fearless.
formation. Formation is
So if we
good.
see a
We're
might
gonna
makes
move
right,
to main.
she
Might
could take
makes
out,
right.
yep, green
Elsa.
might makes right to put 4 +1 counters on Elsa Bloodstone. And I think she is going to take out Buffy in one hit, or she's going to try to. Buffy,
Skirks
of
did
course,
miss
has...
the climb once more, but I don't
Elsa
think
into
that's
Buffy?
going to matter.
Yeah, misses the climb.
That's good.
29 yards already in 9-9. And Buffy, who has 3 health, is going to get KO'd in one hit from Elsa Bloodstone.
Yeah, that lethal is dangerous.
That's good.
Yeah,
May
some people in the
Parker's
chat
taken
are
out.
calling it.
Into Spider-Man.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
Yeah,
David
3
has
-1
had
-1.
the hand
And
of
Spider-Woman into
responses that he had in the last
That's gonna
game,
be
and
good for a third wound.
I will pass.
and
turn.
his entire board gets wiped.
Oh, shite! I did it again.
And Skirks just remembered
You're
that he
seeing
did
this, you're
not
just laughing at me.
climb.
So a lone Spider-Man
Excuse me.
stands against a stacked board on Skirk's side there. He'll be on 7 resources this turn, but he's going to be hard pressed to swing advantage back in his favor.
Yeah, that May Parker was a one of a kind, so we won't see that again. And unless he can start getting a lot of answers, a lot of his plot twists, he's going to be taking wounds almost every. He opts to take the red skill with the Avengers Tower to take another wound onto Spider-Woman.
Going to strike.
Playing Mulder for free.
Although
Gets a Fox Mulder for free.
strike shouldn't be enough, I don't think, because Madam Web has Spider-Woman at 8 defense.
Climbing. I mean paragliding.
Yep. Wait, did you want to climb the Avengers Tower so you could use the X-Files?
You can still use a building you climb.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to use. That's not the one I'm using. Playing the Academy from hand.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong there, chat, but if he took the strike power...
Mantle Spider-Man.
Yeah, he did take the strike power.
Okay, so I reveal my hand.
Yeah, but I think...
So that would have been 7-7.
Okay.
So
against her 8-8.
And now he can't appear, right? Period.
Yeah, so Spider-Man was a 6 at the time to the 8 defense on Spider-Woman. I think maybe we need to jump in there and correct that.
Deck in hand for each card with that name and remove them from the game.
Yeah.
Hey, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, when you played your Avenger Tower, you chose the strike ability. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what was his attack?
Oh, he was too big. I couldn't have striked him.
Oh, Madam.
Yeah.
Madam Web.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
So,
No problem.
Do you want to draw the cards then instead?
No. I did it already.
That sucks, dude.
No, that's no problem. It actually worked in my favor, actually. A little bit. I mean, it cost me a wound, but...
So yeah, I got the 2.
Okay.
And looks like Ultimate Spider-Man was chosen.
Fox into Spider-Woman.
Not a bad hit.
Again, I'm bigger than him.
Yep. Pass turn.
So unfortunately, calling strike is a legal play.
You dirty.
Doesn't get any value though for David. So kind of a miss there on
I'll draw 1
on the Far From Home trigger.
Yeah, Stubborn Dork in the chat. Dave does play Upside Down. He's actually a judge for Versus. If you've been to Origins in Columbus or at Gen Con, you may have seen him. He's one of our judges, so he's used to playing Upside Down to teach the players on the
formation.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, I knew he was doing it for the advantage of the viewer, but that's cool that it's an applicable skill that he picked up from judging.
We will web cartridge.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is looking
This is the dazed
super
one.
rough
Okay.
for David. And that miss
Match
on the
into
strike
Skirt.
last turn to put him even
We
further
got
behind
another,
when
but I got
he
your
really
last
couldn't
one
afford
again.
to.
Yeah. Pass turn.
Oh, you're the last one to end the turn. Regardless of how many characters you have, you're the last one.
Darn two.
Forces you to end.
Looks like Dave may be able to save himself a little bit if he starts drawing into those plot twists that he's had.
-1 on Spider Woman.
Yep.
So he's calling counters on Spider Woman this time.
Playing Fox for free.
Yep.
Another Fox mode
And
for
playing
free.
Odin the Stun Spider Woman.
Ooh,
And
Oh,
Odin.
very nice.
and
That's the first time
that'll
we've seen him.
yep, and that'll stun
Very,
Spider
very
Woman because her base
nice.
stats are now 1/1. In conjunction with those minus counters on her, will stun her and will remove her equipment. Unfortunately, Odin does not have flight, so just moving Spider-Man up front to try to pick apart this board.
I forgot to climb last turn again. Damn it.
Definitely a
And
strong turn from David. Let's see if it's
put my finger on him.
if it's enough. I think Skirk is realizing that he forgot to climb second turn in a row last turn.
Yes, he is. He's trying to keep his finger near it so he
No,
remembers.
I already did my main. I did my top.
Okay.
And so
He's currently an 11-11.
Odin into Spider-Man 20. Hold on. Give me one more. I gotta remember what you had in hand.
So it's revealed information. I'll show you the two cards you know about.
Okay.
Shock.
And he's
Okay,
showing
yeah,
the
I saw
two
that.
cards he had in his hand
Yeah, it's
with
fine.
the revealed information.
Oh, did he not reveal his hand last turn for with the Molder trigger?
Yes, he did not.
Um,
Yeah, the
it's gonna be
Delosian in
the
chat. Yeah, we definitely need a vote. Miss another climb.
It's impossible to know which cards in hand were the ones. I think we need to have him reveal his whole hand. Is that okay with you, Mark?
We can do that. He seemed to know which ones they were.
Tough and then tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pass turn.
Yeah, I think if we miss, we need to.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
When the card, due to the fact that Skirks missed the card reveal or his hand reveal,
Yeah.
we're gonna need you to reveal all three cards, not just two. Not the ones you just drew.
No. It wasn't for the Molder. Those were those were the cards he knew about from the previous Molder.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And since that's known information, I re-showed it.
Perfect.
He was just re-showing it. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, he was re-showing it just to remind him what it was.
Okay, re-showing to clarify. Okay, we're all good then.
So we'll move to formation.
Okay.
We will
Let's try to keep everything super above board. We're in semifinals.
Especially since this is going into the finals, we just want to make sure and trying to keep an eye on everything.
I just
Thanks,
missed
Jeff,
the reveal.
for keeping it. Yeah, so did I. I was actually looking at chat at the time.
Hashtag he showed it going in the chat.
I forgot you had Odin on the board. Not gonna lie.
And since he climbed, he passed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Skirks finally climbed.
Yeah, 2 missed climbs. So
yes.
I mean, 2099 is he's pretty big right now. Could have had 2 more counters though.
Sokovia Chorus.
Match gonna put out some -1s on Odin.
And then Elsa went into Odin, but Dave was able to counter with the Sokovia Accords.
Trying to get that lethal in on the 3 wound Odin, which would have been very, very strong, but the Sokovia Accords comes in and stops that.
You're at 8.
Spider-Man 29 does take a swing though, so it reduces Odin down by 1.
Spider-Woman into Spider-Man.
And then Spider-Woman into Spider-Man.
Yep.
Okay, that's good.
For the trade, which will
Alright,
take
I
Spider-Woman
will
to
pass
3 and Spider-Man to 4, which means David really is going to want to find a Scully this turn to pair with that X-Files he's showing.
Yeah, we've got one more wound left on Spider-Man.
What's going on?
Huh?
What's going on?
What do you mean?
Oh, just that noise, whatever that
I
noise
think we
was.
need a big flyer or we need a Scully. A Scully would be incredible here because
okay. I was like, is somebody falling?
she would
Do
appear
they need help?
to heal a wound from Odin, and then she could pay to heal a wound from Spider-Man, which would be very strong. We've seen either 2 or 3 Scullys, I'm not sure.
I think he's played 2 this game so far.
I believe it's been 2 as well, I believe so. But,
First
that
time
Madam
I
Web
gotta play a car face down.
from
Ooh,
He
turn
does
1
not have
is...
a location this turn.
that's very
That
surprising.
is the
with
first
that.
time I think that I've ever seen David with
Look
this
how many
Spider-Man deck
locations
not play a
happened.
location
That's ridiculous.
in all the games I've seen him play.
Yeah, it's interesting what he just had to burn in order to
You have one X-Files show.
in order to keep up.
Yes.
Okay.
Scully.
And
And
yes,
There's Scully.
there's the Scully to
Yep,
bail him out
Odin.
for another turn. Very strong Scully.
I had 5, 6, 7, 9.
Leaves him with, I believe, 6 resource points left.
And Don.
Yep.
And he's going to use all 6 of those for a Dawn and
he attacks.
a Buffy. Or a Buffy and a
Hold
Dawn,
on,
rather,
do
in that order.
formation First, and
Oh, okay, yeah. And then climb and all
Yeah.
that jazz.
So Scully came in and healed the wound off of Odin. Dave is trying to figure out what he wants to do with his formation.
okay, so
Does
paraglide.
have.
Yep.
He's paragliding now,
Yep, making sure he doesn't miss that paraglide.
Medical doctor.
And
and he's going to heal a wound.
These are the
healing
turns.
that wound. Lots of healing in this matchup. So they're matched on wounds. Skirk is showing a Queens for another heal. Not currently showing a
is
green,
currently at 12,
but
12.
He's a 12, yeah, sorry.
could be in his
Yeah,
hand.
That man,
Yeah, with 2099 has got himself a +4/+4 counter on him.
So currently is
yeah, I got that. So,
a 12-12 once you factor in Madam Web,
Madam Web.
and a 6-9 on Spider-Woman, or Spider-Gwen, rather.
so yeah, so give me Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
sending Odin into Spider-Gwen.
Then I pass turn. One
And
card in
he's
hand.
decided to
Oh, yeah.
pass turn.
Oh, you
Yikes.
did flip your X-Files. Okay. Yeah. I was
Besides,
like,
it's not worth it to
don't
try
you wanna
to
heal?
get
You
into
did.
2099. He'd be hard pressed to even try to get up there. An FBI team attack only gets you to 10. Yeah. Yeah, if David manages this comeback, it'll be incredible.
Yeah, every game that we've seen out of this cup has just been incredible. And those of you who are watching on in chat, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you give us a follow if you enjoy watching it, so you don't miss any of the action, especially with the finals coming.
Great power.
Okay.
Great responsibility will put 2+1 counters on Spider-Woman. She is a base of 1 right now, though.
And Madam Web gives Spider-Woman how much?
Madam Web grants +2/+2. So in total right now, she's Spider-Woman should be a 5/5, I believe. She will go up quite a bit once Odin is stunned.
So he's sending a match into Odin to give him the -3/-3 counters. Or I'm sorry, -4/-4 counters, in hopes of sending somebody in to take Odin out.
Looks like
into Odin. He loses his powers.
Attacking with
So I get
Spider-Woman.
Right.
Spider-Woman's currently still only a 5/5 with Odin being face up. I wonder who she's taking aim at.
That's his first one.
Yeah.
Odin? How big was Odin?
Again.
Into Spider-Man.
So he
He
turns
negates its power.
Odin. Yeah, he turns Odin face down so
Pass
he can
the
get so
turn.
she can get her power.
Yeah, by swinging into Odin with Spider-Woman, she's got her pheromone control, which will remove his power, and she'll go up to full strength while she's in combat with him. So it's a good use of pheromone control.
You know, what was it 2-3 turns ago? We had a single Spider-Man facing off against a full board.
Yeah, and now
Skirk's side, and now
he's
we're
fighting
evened
for
up on 5 apiece.
Yep, he's fighting for it back for sure. He fended off a wound that turn too.
Not laying a resource.
He's in this game again for sure.
Did you play a Dawn?
I did, yeah. That.
Okay. Okay. I figured you would.
So Dave plays another Dawn. And yeah, it doesn't look like he's played another location. He's still sitting at 9.
Man, that's his only play. That's rough.
Yep.
Paraglide.
Yeah, it's the flyers on Skirk's side that's really made it difficult for Dave to even try and get after that Madam Web, which is his number one target.
I'm currently a 5/5.
If he can press this wound advantage though, and Skirk doesn't find another green, then Skirk's in real trouble. I mean, his board state is strong, obviously, but I mean, only 5 wounds on that main character. The objective of the game is to KO the main character.
Buffy.
If he can get in there.
That's a trade.
He's a 5/5. I don't have no. So yes, that's a trade. Yes.
Well, I'm not passing. I'll power up with call.
Yeah, trying hard to keep that wound off Spider-Woman this turn.
That's good.
Yeah, he shocked the system that first attack by Mulder, and then was able to call power up in order to beat back Buffy.
Wow, she's 7, 9. And you get +2/+2 from.
And of course, if Odin tries to swing in, the pheromone control will kick in, and she'll go back up to full strength. So Odin can't hit either.
Yeah, but Dave's having to pass turn. That Madam Web was enough to keep her from being attacked.
Yeah, that's big for Skirk.
A location.
And he finds the green anyway for
I will play
Queens
Spider-Man.
in the form of
You don't have an Iron Man, right?
Daily Bugle, and the Iron Spider comes out.
It's the first time we've seen Iron Spider this matchup.
Heal a wound.
Okay.
Tony Stark. I'm gonna give him.
Gonna put some upgrades on him
and give him flight and range.
Okay.
He's given Iron Spider flight and ranged.
Yeah. That's at the beginning of the.
He's pretty big right now with that Madam Web out too.
Okay. Formation is good. Main phase, I'll trigger my climb first.
Spider-Woman goes back down to 2 wounds with the Queens there.
I will get my
and
yeah.
And then
I think that's the swing and wound advantage that Skirk needed.
I don't have the tokens, but we know I used it.
Yeah.
Did you play a Dawn? You did. Okay. Elsa into Dawn.
That's good.
So Elsa takes out Dawn.
This one into Odin.
And Iron Spider is going to go after Odin.
That's good.
Okay.
And Odin will go to 2.
This one into Spider-Man.
And Spider-Woman will go after Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's good.
And
he will go to 4. He's got 1 wound to give. He's seen 3 out of his 4 Scullys. I think
Spider-Man
maybe all of his X-Files
is taking out Scully.
Yeah, I think we've seen all 4 X-Files because we've seen some heals, and we saw at least 1 Mulder activation. can't remember if he used a yellow or an X-Files for that. But I don't think we're going to see any more healing from David.
I'm going to use the experience die for the things on him.
Okay.
At this point, I think that works.
We're gonna strike
Wow, this is coming down to it.
I'm a 6/6.
See what,
Red will allow him
I'm a
to
6/6.
strike.
Yeah, that does it.
And he's able to take add another wound to Spider-Woman.
Yep.
Knock off a few of her.
I was so close to getting out of range.
So Spider-Woman goes back to 3. But the wound advantage is still in favor of Skirk.
Dawn.
Yep.
I think it's the third Dawn. We've seen.
I think it's 3. Could be 4 on Dawn, but that's his only recruit again. Going to be tough. This is why I think
Yeah, I made that mistake.
I think maybe you want not only Odin as your top end. I think you play a mix of Odin and Captain Marvel so that you have follow-up plays. Not to mention the fact that Captain Marvel is a big flyer to block with. But I think I'll check the list again. But I think it's just Odin on his very top end.
Yeah, it's like
just 2 Odin.
Illusion was saying in chat. The photographic universe does lack some pretty good flyers.
Yeah,
which,
I think
against the flying wall.
I think like a 2-2 split or a 2-1 split on Odin and Captain Marvel would have been good on the top end, but it's just Odin up there, so he's got no top end blockers to help protect him.
Okay.
And I'll play out a Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, not to mention Captain Marvel's higher, further, faster could have gotten back there to that Madam Web.
So we got Firestar and Scarlet Witch.
We're gonna get
Scarlet Witch not gonna do much at this point in the game, but just gonna keep the pressure on, keep the board presence up.
And it gives him another ranged attack. He sends Scarlet Witch into Dawn.
Yeah, that's a good use of Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, okay.
Take out that Dawn. And this could be it for David. He is at 4 wounds. And depending on how Skirk times his attacks, maybe we could see a you're the last one. But if he times it right with his flyers, then this could just be the end for
cards in hand?
MCU Spider-Man here in the Quarantine Cup.
I did not see which card.
I see a friend from work. He attempted to fly over with Iron Spider, and he was met with a friend from work for the cancel. And that's it.
And that's going to be it. And we've got Skirks and his Spider-Woman have defeated David and the Spider-Man. Incredible matchup between these three, or these two, or these three.
Yeah, so an amazing. Almost saw that comeback.
Yeah, we got real close there at the end of, or in the middle there, where it was possible that Dave was actually going to be able to make that comeback. So we're going to go ahead and unmute, jump in here, and have a conversation with these guys, talk about their builds, talk about what happened, what went through the minds. So stay put. We'll be right with you. Hey guys.
Yes.
Incredible games. All three games were absolutely nail biting. Congrats on the win, Skirks. Good game, Dave.
Yeah. Thanks.
So we've seen Dave's build one time already. So Skirks, why don't you tell us about why you chose Spider-Woman and what the build was all about?
Okay, so the reason why I chose Spider-Woman is, one, Jessica Drews is one of my favorite characters, especially in the Spider-Man family. Just her being an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra, and she's just a cool character. Mm-hmm. And I've always had a Spider-Woman deck since she's came out. And then Webheads came around, and they got a ridiculous boost in power. So I tried to utilize that. It's all about the counters and really just the new cards and how powerful gifted or great power, great responsibility are. So Like, I'm only running 2 of the web shooters. They didn't really get much play. The nullifier, both games that it came out early, was just to delay his level up and make him waste his resource drops. Other than that, it's straightforward. It's a very forward, aggressive deck, and if that gets stymied by like combat cancels, it can get behind pretty fast. Madam Web boosting the whole team really makes trades unfavorable. And yeah, it's just an aggressive aggro deck. Very simple strategy.
So the last time that we saw Dave play, there was a particular moment when he forgot to climb. And we talked to him about it. But this time, you missed it a couple of times. What was going through your mind?
I think like 4 times I missed climb throughout the different games. Could be more, but really it was just he was sitting here, and my mind wasn't calculating his stats because honestly, he gets big enough to where once he gets 10 or higher, I don't actually care about it going up anymore. So my mind was more shifted into the other trades, and I would move past the beginning of the main phase step to get into the combat that I was planning for that turn. So it was just absent-mindedness.
Sure.
Definite play mistakes.
And yeah, we all learned from him. Even David pointing it out that first time was something that was impressive. Just because I remember the last game that he played that he missed it.
We were literally the turn before talking about how I missed it, and then the very next turn I missed it again.
Yes. So congrats on the win. You will face off against Robbie and his Captain Marvel MCU. So we'll see whether or not taking out a couple of the MCU photographic decks is in the works. So David, we saw this run last week during the top 8. All 3 games in that matchup were down to the last the wound, and in this one, pretty much the same thing. The first game kind of seemed to be a little favored on Skirk's side, and in that second game, it was running. You had every answer you possibly needed.
Yeah.
What happened in that third game?
I made play mistakes after thinking about back on it. So, like when I wasted that strike on Spider-Woman, that I should have struck Madam Web at some point. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I didn't do that sooner.
Sure.
And I was hoping to get like a goose or something to get rid of her, a Maria Hill, and just didn't see nothing else. And I stopped getting my locations for 2 turns. I went without getting a location.
Yeah. We noticed there at the end that you didn't have locations, which is kind of surprising with the number of locations that you have in that deck.
Right.
But overall, it was an incredible matchup between these two. It's been a really great cup that we've been watching for the last couple of weeks. Stacks, do you have anything to ask?
No, just a great series of games there. A lot of healing we saw, getting you guys in the late game with the Queen Skirk side and the Scullies on David's side just made it a really exciting game. Lots of back and forth. I think that was the first time in the 6 games I've watched you play, David, where you missed a location, so that was a little rough, but great games.
Queens is the only reason I think that Spider Friends, at least the older main characters, have a chance in like today's current metagame. The 5 wounds, same thing for Spider-Man over there. Yeah. The 5 wounds is really inhibiting.
The heals come in and open up like a whole new world for 5 health main characters for sure.
Yeah.
So we mentioned before that if you follow us on Twitch, we would be showing off some new stuff right here in front of everybody. You'd be the first ones to show it. So yesterday, Stacks and Mr. Ben from the Build Phase podcast sat down and played through some decks from the Fantastic Battles. It's the first family story arc that we've been doing card previews for the last couple of weeks. Starting next week, we're going to move into the Herald, which is the second set of that. But today we wanted to show off after First Family. The next story arc is called Omega Level, and Omega Level is a call out to mutants. So for the next 3 expansions, for those 3, as soon as we can get the graphic up on for everyone to check out.
I want to see too.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, Ryan. Everyone's waiting. I hope I didn't catch them off guard. There we go. So in August, we're going to have Futures Past. In September, Freedom Force. And October, the Omegas. So you guys can start contemplating and trying to guess who's going to be in those. But that will be after First Family. We move on to the Omega Level story arc. So we've got some exciting stuff coming from Super Awesome Games, and nice additions. Some crazy new stuff for Versus System 2 PCG. Skirks, congratulations again.
Thank you.
David, amazing run on the Quarantine Cup. I want to thank everybody in chat for joining us today. We will have times and a setup for the final round. Once we get that figured out, we'll let everybody know. Make sure you follow us here on Twitch, or follow us and subscribe on our YouTube channel, or even keeping an eye on our Facebook page, Versus System 2 PCG. Stacks, thank you again for creating the Quarantine Cup, and we will catch everybody next time.